Chapter 6. Woe is me. The gloomiest kid in Ms. Plum's room was Jeremy. Jeremy's favorite word was doom. His favorite weather was wet. His favorite color was black. Jeremy always wore black shoes, black socks, black pants, and a black t-shirt. When he grew up, he wanted a tattoo of a cobweb on his arm. Jeremy never smiled because he said, "It's a weary, weary way." No one knew quite what that meant, but it was sort of a thing Jeremy liked to say. "Who can get me a glue stick?" asked Miss Plum one rainy October afternoon. Jeremy slowly raised his hand, propping it with his other hand and letting his fingers hang pale and limp. When Miss Plum picked him, he walked in a weary, weary way to the closet. Carlos let out a big, weary sigh, glanced at Miss Plum, but knew it was pointless. He could come into class in a coffin, and it wouldn't make Ms. Plum pick him. A moment later, Jeremy stepped out of the closet with a small raven hunched on his shoulder. It was dark black with black eyes and a black beak that looked too heavy for its head. "Nevermore," Jeremy said in a grimly satisfied way. "Nevermore."
Ding dong.
"Huh?" said Lucy. Ms. Plum explained that Jeremy was referring to a famous poem by Edgar Allan Poe about a raven who only said nevermore to everything. "Quoth the raven," said Jeremy with a faint nod of his head. "Nevermore." "Quoth?" asked Eric. "Means said," explained Carlos. Jeremy slumped back to his seat, noticing with satisfaction in the mirror how the bird crouched on his shoulder, looking as gloomy as midnight. "Maybe your raven will say something," said Eric. "Beware," said Jeremy, "for they are messengers of death." Knotting a bitter lip, Eric grinned and said, "Awesome." "Speak, Dark One," said Jeremy. "Tell them of your doom." "Pig snout," said the raven. "Pig snout? What's that mean?" said Dharma. Jeremy frowned. "Speak to us of bleakness," commanded Jeremy. "Speak of sorrow." "Pig snout," said the raven. Dharma and Mindy giggled. Jeremy couldn't believe it. "That's not what ravens say," he complained. The raven hunched its dark shoulders. It looked very gloomy and woeful on Jeremy's shoulders. But no matter what Jeremy did or said, all it would croak was, "Pig snout." Jeremy spent the whole morning with Pig snout in his ear. The other students came over at break time and asked the bird questions just to hear it say pig snout. "What's 15 times 3? asked Eric. "Pig snout." "What's the capital of Japan?" asked Amiko. "Pig snout." "Would you like a knuckle sandwich?" asked Brad. "Pig snout." But they needn't have bothered. The raven was happy to say pig snout anytime. Just at random, in the middle of nothing, he would shout, "Pig snout." He said it loudly. He said it softly. He murmured it. He squawked it in a sharp croak. "Stop saying that," Jeremy finally said. "Pig snout," whispered the raven in his ear. "You stink," said Jeremy. "Pig snout," crooned the raven. "You're a big phony." "Pig snout," rapped the raven. "Why, I oughta pig snout, pig snout, pig snout, pig snout," the raven said really, really fast. And then it happened. Jeremy started to giggle. He squished his hands over his mouth, but he couldn't stop. First, the giggle was like a tiny bubble of air escaping from the side of his mouth. Then it was like a rippling stream. Then it was a laugh so loud and hard that Jeremy buried his head in his arms, his chest shaking. The raven complained with a loud "pig snout" and glared. But Jeremy just kept laughing until it seemed every laugh he'd ever had inside was laughed out of him. Finally, he raised his head from his arms, wiped the tears off his cheeks, and shook his head happily. "Man, oh man," he said, smiling at Ms. Plum. "Pig snout?" "Indeed," said Miss Plum with a smile. And then she told him it was time for the raven to go back. Pig snout, Jeremy said, closing the closet with a little salute and a lopsided grin. The next day, Jeremy came to school in bright red high tops and a tie-dyed t-shirt, bursting with lemon yellow stars. One December afternoon, Miss Plum walked over to the closet and opened the door. She didn't go inside. Instead, she held up one of her plums and called out, "Sweets for my sweets." Soon, there was a sound of faraway voices and a faint creaking from the closet. The sound grew closer. Every eye was on the closet doorway. Suddenly, a band of miniature monkeys came striding forth, chittering and screaming. Half a dozen of the monkeys pulled a wagon filled to the brim with candy. The little monkeys grabbed the candies and raced around the room, giving them to the students. They weren't like any candy the kids had ever had. Tashala got a pink and white candy shaped like a rabbit. When she bit into it, it exploded like a cloud of cotton candy in her mouth, filling it with the taste of strawberries and cream. Jeremy got a candy that looked like a zebra lollipop. When he stuck it in his mouth, he realized that each stripe had a different flavor. It's chocolate. No. Butterscotch. Licorice. I don't know what that one is, but it's good. Carlos got a handful of tiny gumballs. At least they looked like gumballs. But a monkey grabbed one and heaved it at the ground, and it bounced around the room like a super ball. Then the monkey opened its mouth, and the gumball landed inside. Score! Carlos quickly tossed one of the balls. It caroomed off the floor and the ceiling, a light fixture, Mindy's desk, and when he opened his mouth, it hit his tongue and instantly dissolved into a taste of sweet lemonade with maybe just a little bit of dust. Every student got a different candy, and later, thinking about it, everyone felt they had gotten exactly the right candy for them. As soon as the monkeys had given out their candy, they scampered onto Miss Plum's desk and eagerly took several plums from her basket. They piled them in the wagon and pulled it back into the closet. The door shut slowly behind them. Why did we get the candy?" asked Tashala. "Because," said Miss Plum. "Because we all did good on our spelling test?" asked Becky O. "Because it's Friday?" asked Brad. "Because it's almost Christmas?" asked Nadia. "No," said Miss Plum. "Just because." "Why did the monkeys get your plums?" asked Lucy. "Because they gave us candy?" asked Eric. "Because they were so cute?" asked Amiko. "Because they go ape for your plums?" asked Jeremy. "Get it?" He snortled at his own joke. "Go ape?" "Just because," said Miss Plum. "Just because of what?" said Carlos. He didn't like not knowing the exact answer to things. Ms. Plum surveyed her class. Her students were finishing up their treats, licking their fingers and lips and smiling happy smiles. She tilted her head. In the winter sunlight, the tips of her glasses sparkled like purple frost. She happily licked the plum lollipop the monkeys had given her. "Just because," she finally said to Carlos. "Sometimes the answer is just because."